Wow. Somehow that didn't record. Okay, well, I guess we're starting late. Seth and Sean Sports Radio. This is Seth Kamens. I guess he'll be on shortly. I just been speaking for the last 5 minutes and did not realize we weren't live. This is why nobody ever wants me running the back end of these shows. We talk about a couple things. We'll get back to. I brought up soccer briefly. The retirement of Sergio Aguero. I talked briefly about MMA. We're just talking kind of in general about the NFL at this point. The amount of players that have been hurt, amount of players that are in COVID. We've had NBA games canceled. We've had NHL games canceled. The NFL games canceled will be interesting because, let's be honest, as most NFL sports fans, especially as a guy who roots for the Giants and to a lesser degree the Jets, the only thing I have going at this point is fantasy. And with so many people out, so many people injured, we don't really know where it goes. Or if there are games canceled, we don't know how that's going to impact. Should be fun. The one thing I would say, we were talking though about teams that I was talking about the Cardinals, DeAndre Hopkins out for the season. I still to me, they're still the fourth or fifth team in that conference. As good a year as they've had, Kyler Murray's been wonderful. James Conner has been a revelation. Cliff Kingsbury, assuming I can't imagine now he would leave. But you look, they're not Green Bay. They're not Tampa. I don't think they're better than the Rams. And I'll be honest, the team in the NFC that scares me the most is the 49ers, which kills me because, I've just never been a Niners fan. But you look at that team, Garoppolo has been excellent. The running game, if Eli Mitchell comes back, is pretty decent. Debo's been one of the three best non-QB offensive players in the league with Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor. And George Kittle of 2019. I wouldn't want to play them. Luckily, my team's not going to have to because we're trying to get 2 picks in the top 5, which, depending on who our GM will be, will probably predicate on who we pick. Hopefully, Gettleman is out soon. There's no question about that. He has been a disaster. I don't think there's any positive way to spin what he's done. You want to say trading Beckham for 50 cents on the dollar ended up okay because Beckham was a waste in Cleveland? Fine. Saquon, nice player, injured too often. And look, I believed in the pick. I can't lie. I wasn't infatuated with him, but I thought he was an amazing college player. And if they, you always kind of get the feeling the GMs do know more. And if they're saying he's going to be a gold jacket top 3 player in the league, you get him at number 2, then you play with it. You run with it. But would a trade back have been helpful, maybe to 4 or 5 and still be able to potentially get him, considering all the quarterbacks that went in that draft? Sam Darnold, as much of a mess as he went 3. Allen went. Josh Rosen, again, not great, but went. Bradley Chubb went number 4. Indy, the best of all, they traded back, got 3 second rounds. They traded their number 3 of the Jets, got 3 second-round picks, I believe, and took Quentin Nelson, who's the best offensive lineman in football at 6. You figure a guy like Gettleman, who's such a hug molly, that's what he talks about is the offensive line. That would have been something they should have probably looked into. But you look at the team. Is there talent? Well, there's more talent than the Jets. There's more talent than the Lions. There's more talent than the Jaguars. There's more talent than the Texans. But the Jets have $50 million to spend on cap. Houston's probably got $80 million. I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. I'm not showing. I don't have the SPO-Track or whatever the heck it is in front. The Giants have $4 million. Now, they'll cut a bunch of these players, but guys like Sterling Shepard, it's like $7 million of dead money. So you're going to cut a Sterling Shepard who you would have to pay, 8 of the $12 million would still be on the cap. Probably not worth it. He's a good player if he's healthy. The problem is he hasn't been fully healthy ever. So all the New York teams are playing out the string, and we're just waiting to see where our draft pick goes. So the only thing that we can really care about is fantasy at this point. And when Sean jumps on, whatever time that is, we'll go from it. We'll go from there. But I guess what I'll talk about, because one of the things that we joke about, we always do this every year, is the utter ridiculousness of the bowl games. And look, I'm as a Maryland alum, and we had a good day today. Today was National Recruiting Day. We're, I think, a top 25. Top 25. We just have to transition this to more than 6 wins, which I think this is Loxley. Next year is kind of have to be Loxley's year to do that. Look, the division's brutal. You got Penn State, you got Michigan State, you have Michigan, and you have Ohio State. So I'm not expecting 10-2 every year, but an occasional 8-4 would be nice. So here we go. Let's see what games we give a crap about or what the best names of the bowls are. The Bahamas Bowl's been around because I know we're all waiting for that Middle Tennessee Toledo game. The Tail Greeter Cure Bowl. Awesome stuff. I don't know where that is, but sounds like a blast. The roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. Roofclaim.com? Really? The Cricket Celebration Bowl, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are running to buy whatever the hell cricket is. But on the bright side, you get to see Jackson State and see Primetime. Coaching, who just got the number 1 recruit in the country. He stole from his alma mater at Florida State. The number 1 cornerback. The last name is Hunter. I forget the first. Well, look, God bless him that he can pull it off. The PUBG Mobile New Mexico Bowl. UTEP Fresno. Hey.
Now I'm here. Hey, guy.
Look who's here. To be fair, I screwed up. I know it's shocking. The first 6 minutes I wasn't on. I was talking beautifully, but I was not on. So I'm going through the bowls.
Now, even better, you're labeled Seth and Sean, not Seth Kamens, which is even better.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Because I have that's fine.
So we're going through the bowls, and I'll be in Boca Raton for the Boca Raton Bowl.
Right. Are you going to be? Are we allowed to discuss this?
Sure. Why not? I mean, I'm going there.
You're officially done. You are donezo.
Well, I'm donezo at the current job, and so I have yet to sign the offer letter because I have yet to get the offer letter from the new job. But I was promised it by the end of the day, and now it's 4:45. So, you know what? I'm going to a Christmas party tomorrow.
So if you get it during our show, and you need to do the Larry and Balky Perfect Strangers Dance of Joy, go ahead. Die, 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 die.
No. I would do the Alfonso Ribeiro. Anyway,
isn't that what I want? Isn't that what I went down? Isn't this what I came out to in my wedding? Or that was the Electric Boogaloo?
Dun, 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 dun. That's not the same thing I'm talking about. Yeah, that's not the
all those who cannot imagine me or my wife going out to Electric Boogaloo. Jump on it. Good stuff.
Okay, so the Boca Raton Bowl is actually Saturday at 11 a.m. I am not sure I'm going to be at a football game at 11 a.m. to watch Appalachian.
Why not? You wake up at 7 a.m. anyway.
Appalachian State versus Western Kentucky.
You can find out who the next quarterback's going to be for the Jets.
Okay, moving on to your bowl games because we're not talking about this right now. Go on, continue on your merry way.
So we have the Radiance Technology Independence Bowl, UAB versus BYU. Now, the only thing, BYU is a top 10 team for the most part of this year, top 15. They went 12-1, I think. How the hell did they? This is why being independent is so difficult, and joining the Big 12 will be good for them. They would have probably been the best team in the Big 12. Again, contingent on Cincy. They're playing UAB. The only cool thing about UAB.
Why contingent upon Cincy? Cincy's not in the Big 12.
They will be. They're coming into the Big 12.
That's right. Oh, you mean eventually? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, right. BYU's not in it right now.
Right.
They'll be in it
eventually. But the thing about BYU, and remember, BYU is a hard time dealing with conference play, and there's a reason for that. BYU can't play any games on Sunday at all.
It's college. How often do you have to play a game on Sunday?
No, including basketball.
Yes, I understand that. But that's they do the Thursday, Saturday.
I'm just saying, right? So there is conference problems. The other thing is the fact that BYU has their own TV schedule, the same way that Notre Dame does. So their own TV contract.
I don't know if they have their own.
It's not as luxurious. It's not as
I mean, right. It's regional to Utah. I mean, you're now look. People laugh about bringing in Rutgers and Maryland to the Big 12, Big 10. You're now bringing that hardcore Salt Lake City Provo, excuse me.
To be
region.
fair, there's a reason why everybody wants BYU to come, right? BYU does bring a good following. Like, there's a reason why conferences want BYU. It's not just Salt Lake City. Let's understand that.
No, it's all the Mormons.
Yeah.
No, look, the Pac-10, and I'm surprised they didn't join the Pac-10 earlier, especially with Utah. It would have made all the sense in the world. It's a built-in rivalry, but so be it. All right, so let's keep going here. The Lending Tree Bowl, Eastern Michigan versus Liberty. Well, that may be the Giants quarterback. You should know him. He left Syracuse. Didn't he transfer out of Syracuse?
No, he beat Syracuse in Memphis beat Syracuse. Liberty beat Syracuse earlier this year.
Yeah, well, everybody beats Syracuse.
But you know what? The quarterback. First of all, you really think that the Giants are drafting a quarterback this year? That's not
in the first round. Not in the first round. I could see it in the third.
Well, he's going in the first. He's going in the first round.
Probably.
The reason he's going in the first round is because there are only 2 or 3 first round quarterbacks potentially.
No. Look, there's 5 of them that are all in the same bucket.
The North Carolina guy, right? North Carolina State guy.
North Carolina State guy.
North Carolina. It's North Carolina.
Sam Howell. Sam Howell from North Carolina. Desmond Ridder from Cincy. Matt Corral from Ole Miss. And Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh. Those are
I think Pickett goes first.
Well, I think it depends. I think Pittsburgh. Look, I think Pittsburgh's taking a quarterback, and if Pittsburgh can take the guy from Pitt,
right? I think that's where that goes.
Yeah.
And by the way, I was confusing Matt Corral with a guy from North Carolina State. Sorry, Ole Miss.
I can't understand how you could possibly do that.
Because I don't care about either one of the teams, and they both have the same colors. Good saying, don't they?
Okay.
Red and black?
No. Ole Miss is light blue and red. Light blue, white, and red. Anyway.
Mississippi State's red and black?
That's a little bit closer.
Okay, so that's where I missed it.
All right. Now, the big question is, are you going to be able to – you turn Virginia blue, you turn Georgia blue. Can you turn Florida blue?
I'm working on it. That's why I'm wearing a blue shirt. And it says, I'll do it tomorrow. I wore this to my last day of work. I'll do it tomorrow. It's fantastic.
There you go. So anyway, let's keep going here. The Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl.
I love that bowl name. I don't know. Half of these, ladies and gentlemen, let's remember, these are not bowl games that we grew up with. Obviously, Jimmy Kimmel is our age. So it's not a bowl game we grew up with.
I'm not quite sure, but it's Jimmy Kimmel Bowl presented by Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stifel. Isn't it presented by Jimmy Kimmel?
Do you know who Stifel is?
No, it sounds like one of the companies you interviewed with.
Yeah. I've interviewed with a lot of companies. But anyway, who's in that game?
Utah State, Oregon State.
Fantastic. I mean,
I'll be skipping that.
There is a less likely chance of me moving nowhere than watching that game.
Fair enough. 7:30 on a Saturday night sounds perfect for me.
You'll be watching it on the Peloton.
I've been too tired. Hopefully, with the kids now healthy, I can actually stay up late enough to ride at 11:30 at night. Louisiana versus Marshall. The only thing cool about that is actually the coach is now at Florida, Billy Napier. So he stayed to help them win the conference championship, and now he jumped. So he's not coaching this game.
Right.
Monday, the Myrtle Beach Bowl, Old Dominion versus Tulsa. The famous Idaho.
Okay, all right. So let's stop going through each of these bowl games for a second.
Oh, this is great stuff.
I know, but nobody's interested, and that's the problem.
That's the whole point. The names are great.
But that was going to be my next question to you. So we can go back to going through each of these bowl games. Okay. We do it every year, and we make fun of the names of the bowl games because they deserve to be made fun of, right? No question. There's not the Gator Bowl anymore, or even the Blockbuster Bowl. Like there are
Gator Bowl.
Right, but it's a Gator Bowl sponsored by somebody else that's like 17
Tax Slayer. They're my competition, damn it.
Okay, so let me ask you a simpler question than going through each of the bowl games. Which ones do you care about?
Okay. I'll tell you the ones I find pretty interesting as I run through this. The first one that I see kind of interesting, just because it's a rivalry, or it should be some version of rivalry, is Central Florida versus Florida. I just think it's interesting because Florida's a complete dumpster fire right now, and Central Florida's really come on as Florida's fallen. In the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. What the hell is Gasparilla?
So let me talk about that for a second. First of all, that will be, aside from the big four games, right? There are 3 or 4 games. That will be the most attended bowl game of any of them because it's 2 home teams. You're playing Central Florida and Florida. Central Florida is the biggest, I believe they are the biggest public university in southern U.S. Like University of Central Florida is huge.
Yep.
And then you have Florida who's there too. And quite frankly, Florida probably doesn't care about this bowl game, but Central Florida sure does, right?
Right. So, and that it's always the big brother, little brother, and that's what makes that interesting, not the game itself. Correct. Okay, so we're going to Tuesday, December 28th. Let's be honest here. I am what do you call it? I'm at my office during this week, but I'm gonna have my flat screen on, just watching whatever's there. Houston, Auburn, not bad. Houston, 11-2, second best team in their conference behind Cincy. Auburn, kind of a disappointing year. Going through that, I don't care about any of these other games. Wednesday, December 29th, the Maryland Terrapins, the Virginia Tech Hokies. You know who will be there?
Not you.
Jake Kamens will be there.
You got permission from the wifey?
It's outside. I don't have permission to use the press seats, but yeah, I got permission.
Wow. Okay,
so like it's outdoor.
Right. So I'm waiting for both how cold you are going to be on that day, because it will be cold. We all know that.
Yep.
If Seth is going to an outdoor game, it will not be good weather.
Probably not. That has been
the last 2 games that you and I have attended have been miserable weather. We went to a Maryland game. Well, we went to Maryland Syracuse, Maryland, in Maryland, right?
Yep.
And it was cold, like ridiculously cold at night.
At that point, you weren't soft because you weren't living in the South.
It does not matter. We did not view this as a cold game. It was cold.
Yes, but you're soft now. You live down south.
Whatever. And then we went to Syracuse, and yes, it was inside, but it was wicked cold outside.
It was wicked cold. There's no question about that.
So you know it'll be cold at Yankee Stadium, which is not designed for football whatsoever.
No. And when I went a couple years ago with my cousin Amy to see Northwestern Pittsburgh, we couldn't even move. It was so cold. Okay. Oregon, Oklahoma, 9:15. Not bad. I think Thibodeau isn't playing. I'm kind of curious to see what Oklahoma is going to be like because they have no coach. Bob Stoops is coaching. Their quarterback, Caleb Williams, let's see if he stays now that Lincoln Riley has jumped. So we see where that goes.
Wait, you hit on something. And I know I'm interrupting a lot, but
it's your tendency.
It's my tendency, but it's also you have a tendency to go on about bowl games without letting me interrupt for a second. So
because you don't care about them or like them.
But I do care about certain things, like this one. You just mentioned that Thibodeau may or may not play. Here's my question for you. Do you believe that they should play? If they choose to opt out, do you have an opinion?
Look, I hate that they choose to opt out, but we saw what happened to Jalen Smith. He was never the same player after the injury. And if you choose to, because, again, if you're in the playoff if you're in the Rose Bowl, if you're in a Big Four or whatever, the playoff, the top 4 teams, then I think you have a responsibility to your teammates to do so.
See, and I disagree with that entirely.
You're okay with them skipping?
I think unless the university is paying them for either a insurance policy or something along those lines, the only people that benefit, like a Thibodeau is not going to increase his stock in a bowl game. If he was in the playoff, he's still the first, second, or third pick in the draft, right? I mean,
yes.
Regardless of whatever he does. Hutchinson is the first, second, or third pick in the draft. probably the first pick in the draft, but he could be
If I was
anywhere.
Detroit, that's where I would go. Yeah.
Right? So Hutchinson and Thibodeau are probably 1 and 2 in the draft. And if I'm Hutchinson and I opt out and I'm a fan, I'm going, okay, I'm disappointed. No question, I'm disappointed. But I understand it because unless the only people that are benefiting from Hutchinson in that game are the university. The player's not benefiting. He's not benefiting at all.
Wait a minute. Are you going to tell me that Michigan, who has not been in a championships game since 1997,
Yep.
you don't think his teammates are going to say, look, we're playing Georgia in the national semifinal.
Yep.
We have a chance we have worked for 4 years to get to this point.
Yep.
You think they're going to be okay with saying,
nope.
You do you?
No, I don't think they're okay with it at all. But I don't think it should matter. That's my point. I, as the fan, don't like the idea. I don't.
Oh, you're against the idea of them not playing.
No. Hold on. I, as the fan, am against the idea of them not playing. As the person, understand if they say if let's say Syracuse makes the I think this also applies in basketball, by the way. If Syracuse made the Final Four and we're going back 25 years, Don McNabb says, I'm out. I'm just not going to play because I'm a top 3 pick and it won't benefit me at all. As a fan, I am pissed. No question about it. As a person, unless the university is giving an insurance policy, I totally understand it. I don't like it, but I understand it.
As anyone who's being picked as a top 3, top 5, top 7 guy is typically considered a leader of the team under normal circumstances. How do you become a leader of the team to a point where, again, I understand if you're not going for a national championship. That I get.
Why does it matter? I'm still trying to figure that out.
The whole point of you going to college, there's a twofold point of going to
college. If you were about to say the whole point. Okay.
I said a twofold point. I didn't say the whole point, a twofold point. One is to try and increase your draft stock, and 2 is to try and win a national championship.
Maybe.
Do you think they don't care about winning a national championship?
No, I think they do care about winning a national championship. I think, look, that's idealistic, right? Is that we'll win a national championship. We're playing to win. I get that. I do. But
then why don't you just have them sit out the entire season?
And you don't think people have done that?
How often has it been done? Forget COVID.
It hasn't been done very often.
Once?
But here's the thing. If you told Thibodeau as a sophomore that he was guaranteed to be the number 1 pick in the draft, even if he sat out his junior year, you don't think he would?
That's different, though. But that's
why you just said he would. You just said he would sit out a year.
If he sits out the entire year, that's one thing. But if you have played the entire year and you have led your team to the precipice of the national championship, I believe you have an obligation to play with on the championship.
Who's your obligation to?
The people who you play with and sweat with and bleed with every day.
Okay. Does that include the coach?
No. It's your teammates.
Okay.
I have no problem with anyone not for football in the Final Four pulling out. No issue with it at all. I don't like it, but I get it. The Rose Bowl, with Utah going, if Devin Lloyd pulled out, would I be disappointed in him for doing so? Yeah. As a leader of the team, I'd be disappointed. I get it. As someone who is, as any, I was trying to think of the right word, I apologize. As someone who has any ability, if you give a crap and you have a chance to win the national championship, how, as a competitor, do you not do it?
For the same reason that Jalen Smith did it. And you look at that.
Jalen Smith didn't play in wasn't in a national title or a playoff game.
I get it. But what I'm saying is Willis McGahee was.
Yeah.
Okay, and Willis McGahee lost millions of dollars.
Willis McGahee, he was still a first-round pick.
No. Don't take the result and mitigate it by that. Okay.
Fine.
He went.
So you have
He went from a top 5 pick
to a top
which would have
25
made
pick.
X to a top 25 pick. I think he was drafted 23rd overall.
Whatever it was. I get it.
Which is a delta of Y. He
I
lost.
love how
Y.
everyone uses the word delta now. Okay. So
I'm a lawyer. This is what we do. Yeah, it's a delta.
It's an accounting word. It's a finance word. You're not a finance guy. Okay. So let's play this out then.
Yep.
You're Hutchinson.
Yep.
You're the number 1 pick in the draft, or number 2, most likely number 1.
Whatever you are.
You are the captain of the 2-year captain of the team. You are their heart and soul. Are you pulling? You're the number 1 pick in the draft. Are you pulling out?
I think it's a person's choice themselves.
I'm asking, if you were him, would you pull out?
If I were him, I wish I had that ability.
Yeah, we all do. Would you pull out?
Chances are I wouldn't. Flat out. Chances are I wouldn't. But you shouldn't be chastised if I do. I guess that's my point, is that you go to college. Hold on. Let me finish this. You go to college, and I don't care if you're an athlete or anybody else. You go to college supposedly to get a degree and to further your career, whatever that career may be. That is the point. That is the purpose to college, right? At its crux.
Yep.
Okay. So you have become a first-round pick, and you are working to further your career. And you are playing in a game that, quite frankly, doesn't mean very much to the rest of your career, because it doesn't. And you decide not to do that for the same reason that, Seth, you and I don't take a course in chemistry, because it doesn't further my career. So in this case, and trust me, I would fail chemistry, but that doesn't matter. But the fact is,
I've seen you with women. I completely agree you would fail.
Wow, you went there. Come on. I can't balance an equation. There's a big difference. But the fact is, it doesn't further my career. So here you are saying, go play this game. You're the number 1 pick in the draft. It doesn't further your career. And you have a risk, like a huge risk, that you would take any other game. I get that. But it's an unnecessary risk to me. Just is. Playoff or no playoff, still a risk. And Willis McGahee is the number 1 guy. Jalen Smith is the number 2 guy. And there are a litany of other players that have suffered injuries. Maybe not first-round picks. Jake Butt is another guy,
good
right?
Example. Yeah. As I said, I have no argument with it short of it. And I understand the point. It doesn't impact your profession. You want to keep your professional career professional. I get it. As long as it's not going to help your stock, I understand. But I have a fundamental problem with.
All right. So here's another question for you. Let's play this out. I can't remember the guy's name, so I'm going to go find it out. So just give me 2 seconds. Where is it? Okay. You are Ahmad Gardner. Okay. You know who Ahmad Gardner is, right?
No. Who's Ahmad
Gardner is the cornerback for Cincinnati. Corner, not quarter.
Okay.
Corner.
Oh, the All-American. Okay.
The All-American corner. You know the chances of you beating Alabama are pretty damn slim.
Okay. You're an underdog, no question.
You're a huge underdog, and you're a corner. And you do this. You're not Hutchinson. You are a top 15 pick. You're not in a spot where you are a favorite, or even on that plane. You are a sizable underdog. Is it any less for you than Hutchinson?
No, because he's still trying to raise his stock. He's playing against Jamison Williams.
So let's say he's a top 2 pick. Like, let's say his stock could go no higher.
You've tried to build this team for 4 years.
No. I'm just saying.
Look, you're asking me a question. I'm giving you an answer.
Yeah, fair enough.
It doesn't change for me. I understand the point. But as someone who has played with a team for years upon years and built a team from 1-11 to 6-5 to 10-1 to 12-0, how in the hell do you leave your teammates with a chance to win the national championship?
Ladies and gentlemen, Seth just described the Seth and Sean Sports Fantasy League. So we built a team.
We were never 1-11.
No, that's true. But anyway, I do get your point. There is an emotional component. It is not just a practical component.
Right, which with Thibodeau makes sense. They're in a bowl that doesn't mean a hell of a lot. He's a top 3 pick. Would it be nice to see him play one last game? Yeah. Do I understand why he's not? Absolutely. But for a Hutchinson or an Evan Neal from Alabama, I mean, for them to leave before the national semis makes no sense to me. Now, where it becomes interesting, Sean, is if we end up in a 12-team playoff.
Right. Well, that's where it's going to come in, right?
And that, we'll see. At that point, I don't know. I don't.
By the way, you also got Christian McCaffrey on that list, too, that got hurt during a bowl game. I mean, no, he pulled himself out. Sorry, he pulled himself out of a bowl game. I'm just saying one of the best players in the league pulled themselves out. But I think
he's
right.
He's been injured quite a bit since.
I'm just saying the more you expand, and this is why I think at some point you're going to see this more in basketball. I think you're going to see guys pulling out.
But injuries are less prevalent in basketball. Look,
that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, you have Paul George, in the Olympic trials. It happens.
Yep. You got the guy from Louisville that broke his leg. I can't remember his name, but
Kevin Ware.
It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, like an injury like that.
I get it. But the injuries in basketball are not typically at the same tier as the injuries in football.
You're right.
So people are gonna take that risk in basketball.
Okay.
Because look, the difference also is if you're not playing basketball in what do you call it for the college, you're playing pickup somewhere.
Sure.
You're not you keep playing.
Sure.
So it's not like football where you're going to play a pickup tackle game 4 days a week for 4 hours. So it's not the same thing to me.
You are probably spot on with that. I agree with you.
Can I record that? Is that saved for posterity?
It is. Absolutely. Dude, I agree with you more than you think I do. That is certainly true.
Okay. So quickly keep going through some of these.
Yeah. Hit it.
Maryland, Virginia Tech. As I said, I may be there, I may not. Clemson, Iowa State, not this year. Michigan State, Pittsburgh's pretty good. I'd like to actually see Kenny Pickett versus the Michigan State defense. That interests me in the Peach Bowl. And it's a big six. It's a legitimate bowl this year. I don't. And then on the front on New Year's Eve, you have Cincy, Alabama, Georgia, Michigan. I think both games are excellent. I think that look, I really, really hope Cincy finds a way. And Alabama, other than the game against Georgia, has not been good this year. They haven't been. They're lucky to be there. So I'm not writing them off. I just won't. This is not a Michigan State or a team that made it, which was terrible, or a team that was intimidated going in. They're not scared of Alabama. They may not win.
Right.
I mean, the running back played at Alabama. Theirs is not. They have they're a senior team. Their coaches coach at Ohio. They're not going to be intimidated by them. They're probably not win, but they'll show up. Georgia, Michigan's just a toss-up. I'm assuming Michigan is. I think Georgia's a little demoralized right now. What else is out there? Penn State, Arkansas. It's okay. Iowa, Kentucky. I don't need to see. Notre Dame, Oklahoma State. I don't really care. I kind of like the Rose Bowl. I want to see if Ohio State comes out somewhat motivated against Utah. I think Utah beats them. My gut is Ohio State kind of shits the bed on this.
So here's my point. I'm looking forward to seeing Notre Dame because I want to see how their new coach handles this. Like it is, to me, it's all about the new coach's staffs, right? I want to see Lincoln Riley. I want to see what effect he has.
Well, they're not. USC's not coaching.
Right. They're not in a bowl game. That's what I'm saying. Like I want to see Bob Stoops because Venables, I think, is still coaching Clemson, right? He didn't move over. So I'm interested in seeing how he does.
No. They didn't. No. He left. Nobody's staying unless they're in a BCS game.
Okay, so Venables is
gone.
Is he coaching Oklahoma?
No. Stoops is coaching Oklahoma, but he's recruiting.
Okay, fair enough. But I want to see the Notre Dame coach more than anybody else because, look, he was the unsung guy, right? I mean, him and Tommy Rees, they're both younger guys. That coach, it's funny, that coach could be there longer than Brian Kelly. Like, he could be a 30-year vet at that school. I think he's 35 years old.
He's 35 years old.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what you've done with your life, man.
I know what I've done with my life. I've moved quite a bit, and I'm moving again. I'm well aware of what I've done with my life. Seth, do you have to go at 5:15, or are you up on time?
Yeah, screw it. We'll keep going.
All right, so we'll go for about 10 more minutes. So what else you got?
Well, I think we probably should talk a little fantasy.
We are in the playoffs because there was never a doubt.
No, we're the only team, I think, probably in the world of fantasy football that our bench, based on injury, and is better than our team, and we still have the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is our bench right now. Our quarterback's Daniel Jones. Fine, given. Our running back is Derrick Henry, J.K. Dobbins, and Cam Akers. Our tight end is Darren Waller, and our wide receivers, although we can now start Keenan Allen again, were Keenan Allen and Michael Thomas.
Yep.
That is absurd.
That's our injured list.
That's our injury list. So luckily we can, we got a week off, and we are the one
so the guys can rest.
Well, knowing our luck, 3 more guys will be injured.
Well, but yeah. Thank God for Davis Mills.
As long as we got Cooper and Debo and Aaron, we should be okay.
Well, to be fair, I'd like to point out that, and this is where I was right and you were wrong.
I don't know what you're saying yet, so I have no idea.
After the draft, you said our weakest point in this entire team was our wide receivers. Mm-hmm. And I said we would be fine.
Did you think we would be this fine?
No, but I thought we would be serviceable, and we were beyond serviceable. Yeah. But I was confident in our wideouts in that 3 number 2s would be fine, and that's what I presumed we had. I did not presume
we had 3 number 1. Instead, we had 3 number 1s.
Right. Instead, we had 3 number 1s, and quite frankly, we may protect all 3 and just come back with this. I mean, look, Debo, we got at 7, so we have some.
Debo and Cooper, we have to keep, and then.
Well, do we have to keep Cooper? Cooper's at 29, so Cooper's going to be a hard task to keep. But
dude, he's got the best wide receiver stats in literally the history of fantasy football.
I know.
I don't know how we can bench him.
I know.
So I got Cooper, Debo, and we can keep Keenan.
The irony of all this? We kept 2 guys on injured list all year, so we could possibly keep them next year, and we kept an injured player on our roster all year to possibly keep him next year, and we kept a quarterback on our roster who wasn't going to play all year, and at the end of the day, we may keep none of them.
None of them. And we're probably still the favorites to win the title.
And the only reason, ladies and gentlemen, is we have not dropped any of those players is because the minute we drop them, somebody else will definitely pick them up at a bargain basement price and then keep them.
Yep.
So if you pick, I believe you do get it at the price in which they were drafted. However, we do have Derrick Henry at 33, and Derrick Henry protected at 33 we don't like.
Well, we can't keep him.
Right. No, but I'm saying, but somebody else could if we drop him.
We tried to trade him. People are morons. I mean, if you're a 3-9 and you have no keepers, and you get the best running back in football at $33, who should be fine for next year. So, how are your other fantasies looking?
So I went 3 for 3 this year. I am in the playoffs for all 3 teams. I backed in on 1. This is the first year I am successfully in the playoffs for all 3. I am a 6 seed. I am a 4 seed, and in our league, I am a 1 seed. The 6 seed and the 4 seed, I get my money back. I'm not all that happy about it, but I get my money back. I have Tua going this week because I've been rotating quarterbacks. I mean, that's basically the hard part for me is in one league, I always have too many running backs. And then in another league, I always have too many quarterbacks. And so these are the running backs I have in this one league where I perpetually start the wrong running back. I picked up Duke Johnson this week to play him in the playoffs because he's the only healthy running back. Duke Johnson's the only healthy running back in Miami. Gaskin's hurt. Ahmed's hurt. They're all hurt or on COVID. So he plays against the Jets, dude.
I know. I'm starting Tua in one of my leagues. I get it. I'm just, wow.
So Duke Johnson, Javonte Williams, Joe Mixon, Alex Collins, Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt, Tony Pollard. Those are my running backs.
How many running backs do you have?
That's my point. As we have said numerous times, 2 quarterbacks means you have no quarterbacks. Well, 6 running backs means you really have no running backs either. And I am benching the number 4 pick in the draft this week to play Duke Johnson. That just gives you Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah. So that's that. Yeah. And the hard part about this league is I have Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Elijah Moore, and Cortland Sutton. So I really have Keenan Allen and a shot in hell. And I had Darren Waller, who got hurt, and my quarterback is Ryan Tannehill. So this is not a good team. Like, no. If you're starting Duke Johnson in the playoffs, you have problems.
I'm in playoffs with 4 of my 5. I have 2 number 1s. I actually went 5-0 last week.
Congrats.
So I have 2,
well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have two first number 1 seeds. I have a 4 seed and a 5 seed. I play Mr. Ziskin in the 4-5 game which will be interesting. If Kareem Hunt doesn't play, his best running back is Devin Singletary, but his 4 wide receivers are better than anyone that I have. So there's a trade-off. Actually, our league will probably come down to me. I have Herbert. He has Mahomes tomorrow night, so that should be fun. But this is my favorite team is actually the team that didn't make the playoffs because I find this hysterical. Okay. This team went 7-7. And in a normal year, think about how good this team would be. 12-team league. Quarterback is Wilson. Running backs are Alvin Kamara and Chris Carson. So right now we have had 3 players that have been injured at least 4 games this year.
Sure.
Tight end is Gronk.
Yep.
Injured. Wide receivers, Robert Woods, out for the season. DeAndre Hopkins, out for the season. I forget. Jarvis Landry, out for most of the season, and Keenan Allen. So the only player I have had the entire season. And my tight end is Darren Waller. My tight end. My tight end was Gronk. This is a 10-2 team, and I just got destroyed by injury. And I am a 1 Keenan Allen catch for making the playoffs. And now that my team is relatively healthy, I would be dangerous as hell.
But you're not.
But I'm not. So the 2-1 seeds, I think the best chance I have, is with you. I think with the other one, we'll see. The 4 and 5 will be close, but it's fun.
And I understand. Your best chance is always with me.
Wow. I don't know if you saw, actually on the ESPN app, they show our history.
I have not, but are we good?
They just updated it. And they said our average position was 4th over the last 8 years. And it's funny, what they didn't include was they included the 3 years before we were in there, where someone else randomly ran our team.
Oh.
And they were 8th, 9th, and 6th.
Where is that? Under team info?
No. Yeah, it was just they updated the ESPN app. I can't check it I can only check it on my when I'm home. My ESPN
league history. Yep, league history. Yeah, positioning is 4th. But if you look at the years that we have run the league, we're in second, first, second, fourth, fifth, first. And we have an all-time record of 90, 53, and 0. Not bad.
No. All right, we got about 5. I got about 5 minutes. We got about 5 minutes to go. So
okay.
You can keep going a little bit longer because I started.
No. I'm gonna log off as well because I have some stuff to do. But yeah,
I want to give my 2 quick shout outs.
Please do.
Number 1, Juliana Pena, biggest upset in MMA in years, beating Amanda Nunes. She's, I think, an 11-1 underdog. Amanda Nunes is the greatest woman fighter of all time, and she choked her out in the second round. Number 2, the Sergey Aguero retires. Do you know who Sergey Aguero is?
Couldn't tell you who that was.
Look him up. Look up Man City. He scored the greatest goal.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this guy. Yep.
So, Man City, which was like the equivalent of the Jets beating the Giants in the Super Bowl after the Giants won 12 Super Bowls in 40 years. On being down 6 with 8 with a minute to go, 2 minutes to go. And Aguero scores the goal at the last second of penalty time and wins the championship. It is Martin Tyler announces it's the greatest thing you'll ever see in sports. And it's certainly worth it. He was retired. It's up there. He retires because of an irregular heartbeat, class act, and according to The Athletic, I think number 10 all time in the EPL. And you wish him the best of luck. That's all I got.
Okay, I got one thing. Look, I have a hard time with this, and because I'm going to talk politically here a little bit, and I'm not exactly sure how I come out in general. And we're going to talk about the Penn swimmer a little bit. And have you heard this, or are you in the blind? So a transgender male to female swimmer is breaking all sorts of Ivy League records in swimming. And truth be told, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because men are generally faster than women. In swimming, they're more athletic. In basketball, so from my understanding, this man who became a woman, and there's nothing wrong with that. I am not against that. But the fact is, he was a second team all Ivy League as a man. And now he is competing as a woman. And that to me is a little off kilter in the fact that you can compete against people that do not have the same. It would be like an Olympian competing against a Paralympian. And I know I'm getting a little bit into politics, and I don't want to get there. But I think it's something that we have to, as the world changes, we have to adapt, and we have to figure out where the limitations are. And I'm going to leave it there because I don't really understand more than that. But it is something that bothered me to a degree because I'm like, you're not competing against the same people. It's not a fair fight. And if it's not a fair fight, how do you really judge it as a fair fight? So we'll leave it there. I'm sure I'll get a little bit of pushback from a couple of people if they're watching this based on that opinion. But we can talk about this more in the future, and we probably should.
It's an impossible situation.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for it. I don't even have an opinion. I don't know what the right answer is for this.
Well, and that's part of what I was getting at is it may be an unpopular opinion to the fact that I don't like that it happened, and I don't think that it's fair that it happened. But at the same point, how do you think it is fair? It's not an apples to apples comparison. It just can't be. So I know I'm delving a little bit into uncharted waters for this broadcast, but I don't have an answer. And I'm not saying I do, but at the same time, I don't like the situation the way it has unfolded, where he is breaking records. She is breaking records. That is not fair. She is breaking records to the point of Katie Ledecky spans. Yeah. It's just not apples to apples. But we'll talk about that at a later time. Okay. He's Seth Kamens. I'm Sean Palmer. We'll talk next week. Seth and Sean Sports on stream. Where are we on?
StreamYard. Where's StreamYard?
Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll talk soon. See ya.
Okay. I'll call you afterwards. Later.
Yeah, bye.